Greetings and welcome inside our luxurious NJCAA studios. I'm your host, Sam Hyman. The time is now as we get set to unpack the 2022 Division I NJCAA Men's Basketball Championship with all games to be played in Hutchinson, Kansas. Now, this is the 75th anniversary of the NJCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. 74 times it has been played in Hutchinson, Kansas, and a lot has gone on over the years, including a $29.5 million renovation, and we're staying in Hutchinson, Kansas until 2041, so a lot of things to be very, very excited about. All right, let's take a look at the bracket and how everything shapes out. We've got 24 teams. There are 16 district champions. The top 8 teams that we'll unpack in just a second are going to receive first-round byes. There are 8 at-large selections as well that we'll get to in just a couple of moments. But first, we dive into the top 8 teams in the Division I Men's Basketball Championship. And we begin with the #1 overall seed, the Bruins from Salt Lake, 31-1 overall. They started the season 28-0, and they are a high-octane offense. As you can see on your screen, 7 players are averaging 9 or more points per game. It is a balanced attack under head coach Kyle Taylor. The Bruins from Salt Lake, the #1 overall seed. Next up, the #2 seed overall, Dodge City. The Conquistadors have had a remarkable season. They're seeking their 2nd ever national championship and first since 1964. And they're back on the map. As you can see, 12-game win streak. They have not won a regular season title since 2007. That ended this season as they are regular season champions. The #3 overall seed, Kilgore, the Rangers from Kilgore, Texas. Back-to-back NJCAA tournament appearances after not making it since the 2012-2013 campaign. And as you can see, a stout defense holding opponents to 61.8 points per game. Kilgore, 30-2 overall, the Mid-South District champions, the #3 overall seed. At #4, the Central District champs, John A. Logan, the Volunteers from Carterville, Illinois, seeking their first ever national championship under head coach Kyle Smith-Peters, a record-setting year. 29 wins, a school record, and perfect at home. John A. Logan, the Volunteers, the #4 overall seed, the Central District champions. The #5 overall seed from Marianna, Florida, it's Chipola. The Indians defeated Indian River State, back-to-back district titles for the Indians. And as you can see, again, another really high-quality defensive team in the top 5 of this bracket, making their 17th tournament appearance. The Chipola Indians are the #5 overall seed. At #6, we've got our first at-large selection. It's the Pioneers from Indian River State as the 6th seed, ranked 2nd in the final national poll this season. Lost to Chipola in the district championship game. We just mentioned them as the #5 overall seed. And this is a team that can flat out let it fly from downtown, 5th in the nation with 39% from three-point land. Indian River State, the Pioneers, are locked in as the #6 overall seed. At #7 overall, Indian Hills, the Warriors from Iowa, led by head coach Hank Plona, who was the conference's coach of the year this season. Also, Indian Hills has the player of the year in the conference in Javon Hadley, a 3-time national champion all time, and they are coming in hot, winning 13 games in a row, entering the NJCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. Indian Hills, the Warriors, the #7 overall seed in this tournament. And finally, the last team to receive a first-round bye, at-large selection, Odessa, the Wranglers. 9th tournament appearance overall, ranked 8th in the final national poll. Their leading scorer is Danis Jenkins, who can absolutely fill it up, and this is their second consecutive season that they are an at-large selection, but they do get a first-round bye as the number 8 seed in this tournament. So let's take a look at the big picture. Only 2 teams in the top 8 are at-large selections. 6 of the 8 teams are district champions. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things shape out. But Salt Lake, the number 1 overall seed, looking for their 3rd ever national championship and first since 2016. And it's now time to welcome in the number 1 overall seed's head coach of the Bruins. That's Kyle Taylor. Kyle, it is my understanding that you are coming to us from the airport. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are in the Phoenix airport. We just drove up from Douglas, Arizona this morning and are flying back to Salt Lake City. So
very, very exciting. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on earning the number 1 overall seed in the Division I men's basketball championship.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited. Obviously, we've got a lot of work left to do, but excited to be the number 1 seed and excited to get to Hutch next week.
So, Kyle, tell me, why this team? Why do you believe this team has a chance to win a national championship? It would be the 3rd ever in program history.
Yeah, I mean, I think our number 1 thing is our depth. You know, we have 11 players that can legitimately play and help us on any night. I was actually looking at the scores last night. In our last 4 games, we've had a different player lead us in scoring at over 20 points a game. So we have a lot of weapons and we have a lot of people that can be really effective for us. And so that makes my job easier as a coach, knowing that we've got that many guys that can all play and contribute.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to get to some names, but I feel like there's just so many. You have such a balanced offense. You're the nation's highest scoring offense, just over 105 points per game. Who are some of the names of some guys that have really stepped up this year for your team?
Yeah, I mean, I'd obviously like to start with our returners. Quincy McGriff has been fantastic for us, shooting the basketball and playmaking off the bounce. Jackson Lassen, Max Watson have been really key returners for us. And, you know, those 3 guys know what it takes to get to Hutch. We obviously didn't win last year, but they've at least been in that environment. And I think those 3 guys have showed a ton of leadership for us. And then we've been blessed with some Division I transfers. You know, our 2 leading scorers are Division I transfers. Dr. Bradley came to us from Cal State Fullerton. And then Jordan Brinson came to us via UAB and Utah Valley. And, you know, those guys have been just tremendous driving the basketball and scoring at the rim and, you know, have really led us to where we're at today.
That's awesome to hear. You know, this is your 3rd season as the head coach at Salt Lake, 49-9 through the first handful of years. What's different about this team, even going back to previous coaching jobs that you've had? What's different about this team compared to ones that you've coached in years past?
I think our maturity really stands out. We've got all 5 of our Division I transfers did 2 years at a Division I school. So that COVID year where everybody got the year back really helped us a lot. And then we have 4 Utah guys. I think that's a really big key to Salt Lake, and one of the niches that we have as a program, you know, that dates back to Todd Phillips and Norm Parrish prior to me, is getting really good players from in-state. And to me, that combination and the maturity that we have, you know, has really set us apart so far this year, but we have a lot of work left to do.
He's the head coach of Salt Lake, the Bruins, the number 1 overall seed. Coach, thanks so much for your time, and I know you have a flight to catch here in a little bit, so safe travels, and best of luck in the NJCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship.
Thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you guys in Hutch.
And coming up next, we'll unveil the seeds 9 through 24. That's next on our selection show on the NJCAA Network.
Over 30 majors in 4 divisions. nursing,
education,
criminal justice.
Exercise science.
This is one of the very few schools to honor leadership with scholarship.
Our students go out into the world with confidence.
I know who I am.
Pfeiffer has it all. The only thing that's missing is you.
We welcome you back inside the NJCAA studios. I'm your host, Sam Hyman. We already know the top 8 teams in this tournament. They all are getting first-round byes. But if you're just joining us, let's take a look at the bracket so far. Those top 8 teams led at the top by Salt Lake, the Bruins, the #1 overall seed, looking for their first national championship since 2016. We still have seeds 9 through 24 to go, so let's roll through those, beginning with the 16 seed Moberly area, the Greyhounds, led by Sincere Parker, 12th nationally in scoring, 21.8 points per game. This is their 30th appearance in the tournament. That's second most ever among NJCAA teams. Who do they face? 17-seeded Pearl River, the Wildcats, led by head coach Chris Oney. They're the Gulf District champions. Moving on, the 9 seed Shelton State, the Buccaneers, 29-4 overall, 20-1 in conference play, and they have a very balanced attack with 4 players averaging more than 10 points per game. The South District champs of Shelton State. They'll face, for the first time ever in the dance, Roane State, the Raiders, 50 years later and an overtime session in the district championship game of the Appalachian District. The Raiders punching their ticket for the first time to Hutchinson, Kansas. Moving on, the East District champs, 13-seed Harcum, the Bears, will be in the tournament. They're from Pennsylvania and a very tough group led by Muhammad Wag, who is second in the nation in rebounds with 12.2 per game. Harcum in the dance, and they'll play an at-large selection. The last team in the field, Southern Idaho, the Golden Eagles, the 20 seed, the CSI, Southern Idaho Golden Eagles, an at-large selection. Moving on to another at-large selection. At number 12, the 12th seeded Hutchinson Blue Dragons, home sweet home, playing in their comfortable confines in this tournament. Lost a heartbreaker in overtime in the district championship game, but Hutchinson, an at-large selection, is back in the dance. They'll face Connors State, the Cowboys, the South Central District champions, 21st seed, the 1990 national champions. They're making their first appearance in the dance since 2018. Let's flip to the other side of the bracket with an at-large selection. Snow, the Badgers from Utah, led by Zach Hunsaker, who averages 20 points per game. Also, another scorer right of forward, 16.3 points a contest. Snow, the 15 seed. The 18 seed, another at-large selection, the Lee Rebels, their second ever NJCAA tournament appearance. Lee coming from Baytown, Texas. The 10 seed, Northwest Florida State, the Raiders, an at-large selection as the number 10 seed. They are the 3rd team coming out of the South Atlantic District in Florida, a stacked South Atlantic District indeed. The 2-time national champions, the Raiders from Northwest Florida State. And they'll face off against Trinidad State, the Trojans from Trinidad, Colorado, the 23rd overall seed. A magical finish in the regional final, defeating Otero on a buzzer beater, a 40-foot buzzer beater by Jalen Bedford. To the bottom right corner of the bracket, South Plains, the 14 seed, punching their ticket, knocked off 8th seed Odessa in the district championship game, 87-83. Deuce Turner dropped 31 points in that game. This is South Plains' 6th straight trip to the dance. And they'll face off against the Jets from South Georgia Tech, the number 19 seed, their first appearance since 2014. What a thrilling finish in the Southeast District Championship game, an overtime thriller against Georgia Highlands. South Georgia Tech winning the Southeast District Championship as the 19 seed. The last two teams to fill out in our bracket, an at-large selection. Triton, the Trojans, number 11 seed, blocks at the top of the nation in blocks per game, 7.4. And they also light it up from downtown, more than 10 threes per game. An at-large selection, the Triton Trojans. And the last team to unpack, it's Caldwell Tech. The Cobras from Hutchinson, North Carolina, the 22 seed, their second Division I tournament appearance, and they are dominant on the glass. Caldwell Tech, the Cobras, the number 22 seed. All right, so our bracket is complete as we take a look at the entire bracket. Games to be played from March 14th all the way to the 19th of March with the championship game. All games to be played in Hutchinson, Kansas. Coming up next, straight ahead, we'll hear from the Division I Men's Basketball Committee Chair, Dean Myrick. That is straight ahead on the NJCAA Selection Show.
The landscape of sports is changing. AI is the next evolution. We're bringing it to fields and gyms everywhere with Huddle Focus. Just mount it, set it, and forget it. Multiple lenses, AI player tracking, automatic recording, or record on the fly with the Focus app. Instant uploads and flexible live streaming options. AI is changing sports. Use it to your advantage. Visit huddle.com/focus today.
And we welcome you back inside the luxurious NJCAA studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. My name is Sam Hyman, and it is my privilege to be joined by the Division I Men's Basketball Committee Chair. That's right, Dean Myrick. Dean, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Certainly. I know it's been a busy 24 hours or so for you, busy week, but let's jump right into it. I want to start with Salt Lake, the Bruins, the number 1 overall seed. Is this the best number 1 overall seed in recent memory in your eyes? What stands out about this team?
I don't know if it's the best. It may be the most consistent. They were number 1 from preseason all the way to the very end. So they established themselves as the number 1 all year, even with their last loss to CSI. We still felt like they were more than deserving of the number 1. So I don't know if it's the best because, gosh, all the number 1 seeds are tremendous, but I think they've been one of the most consistent that we've had the past few years.
Now let's get to some bubble teams. If you could just talk a little bit about some of the debate with the at-large selections coming down to the wire. Were there some teams that maybe were on the edge of their seats that did not get in? What was the biggest area of debate with regards to some of the bubble teams with your committee?
We in the past, and we have tried to be very consistent with the scheduling and the number of D1 games, the number of D1 wins. So we tried to stay consistent with those decisions from the past, which makes that a little bit easier. But as far as the at-large teams, the number of Division I wins went from 21 to 26. So they were pretty consistent with that. In the past, we have tried to relay that message. You have got to go out and you have got to play a very good schedule. And we realize some may or may not be able to do that. but that's just the way that we feel and have tried to relay that message over the years. So as in always, it comes down to about 3 or 4 teams for the last 2 spots. And once we looked at schedules and the number of D1 wins, it was not easy, but it wasn't as difficult in the past. We didn't seem to have that big grouping this year that were really close together in the number of wins. So the top 8 was pretty consistent with what we've done in the past. 9, 10, 11, 12, the number of D1, there was a pretty big gap between that 8, the last team in, and then that 9th team as far as D1 wins.
Yeah, that last team in that you mentioned, College of Southern Idaho. I want to jump big picture here for you, Dean. This is the 75th anniversary of the Division I men's basketball championship, the 74th year that it's been in Hutchinson, Kansas. How would you describe this field compared to ones that you've seen in years past?
One, and I'm biased, I feel like this is the best tournament, whether it's NBA, NCAA, NAIA, NJCAA, high school. There's not a better week of tournament action than it is in Hutch. So, and then the history is just unbelievable. But as far as this year's tournament, I think once the seeds are announced, I throw them out of the window because we're going to have upsets. We expect upsets because there's so much parity, amongst the 24 teams. And, maybe in the past few years, you could say, well, there's 5 or 6 that can win it. I would say we could double that this year. There's a lot of teams that have the opportunity and the talent to win this tournament. So this is going to be one heck of a tournament. And, we knew that going into the season when we did the preseason poll in October, that there was a lot of parity. And, so we're definitely looking forward to it. But we are expecting upsets. So after the seeding's announced, let's just throw them out the window and throw the ball up.
Very exciting stuff. He is the Division I Men's Basketball Committee Chair, Dean Myrick. Dean, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule, and hopefully you get some sleep over the next couple of days, all right?
Oh, we will. Thanks for having me. Greatly appreciate it.
Certainly. All right, a final glance at the full 24-team bracket with the number 1 overall seed being the Salt Lake Bruins. It's going to be a fun time from March 14th to March 19th. So get ready for a fun dance. Thanks so much for joining us today for the Division I Men's Basketball NJCAA Selection Show. It'll be the 75th anniversary of this tournament and the 74th time it'll be held in Hutchinson, Kansas. Thank you all for watching and enjoy the tournament. My name's Sam Hyman saying so long.